From the roar of the crowd to the roar of the engine, this is Pit Pass.
Pit Pass is brought to you by Jake's Karts. Here's your host, Ron Fox.
Thanks for joining us for another week of Pit Pass. Well, the weather is still disrupting this early 2011 racing season. A few tracks were able to run their programs on Friday, while others had to cancel. Again, a few big events were on tap for last Friday. Williams Grove ran the All-Star Sprints, but I'd already planned on being at Saturday's All-Star race at Port Royal. The Lucas Oil late models were in Bedford, but I was just there 2 weeks ago, and you know I like venturing out to different locales. So I decided to check out the All-Star late models at Lernerville for the Showdown in Sarvertown. With over 40 cars attempting to fill the 22 spots for the Showdown, let's take a look at the preliminary events that would set the lineup. Tim Dome in the 6T set fast time and paced the first heat race. Robbie Blair, last year's Showdown winner, would run second to Dome in the early stages of heat number 1. The top 4 finishers in each heat race would advance to the Showdown. This is Lynn Geisler running in the 3rd spot. John Flinner held the coveted 4th position in the 12-lap race. Dome would beat Blair by a few car lengths at the stripe. Geisler and Flinner round out the top 4. The 99 of Boom Briggs would lead the field to the green of heat number 2. At the start, Chad Vallone in the blue number 2 slides into 2nd, while Dave Hess Jr. shoots low to challenge Vallone. The 20 of Jacob Hawkins gets on the brakes to avoid hitting Hess. The 77 of Dale Plank splits Hawkins and John Mollick, but then veers off the backstretch and flips violently. I'm not sure if there was contact with Hawkins or if he was just avoiding him. Regardless, it was a wild ride. Plank was okay. After the restart, Briggs opened up a lead on Vallone, while Hawkins worked on Hess for 3rd place. There would be no changes in the top 4 as Briggs cruises to the win, followed by Vallone, Jacob Hawkins, and Hess. A couple of laps into heat number 3, we have Eddie Carrier pacing the field on a restart as Davey Johnson in the 47, yes, number 47, moves into the 2nd spot. On lap 8 of 12, Johnson moves under Carrier for the lead off of turn 2. Johnson holds on to take the checkers. Carrier, Keith Barbara, and Mike Knight also advance to the Showdown. In heat number 4, Tommy Beck jumps the start of the race in the green 91. So we have a restart. This moves Hot Rod Conley to the point and Beck back to row 2. John Garvin Jr. in the 4J beats Conley into turn 1 to take the lead. Beck and Greg Satterley are door-to-door, with Satterley moving into 3rd place. A couple of laps later, Conley has trouble off of 2 and loses 2 positions. As he races Beck for 3rd, Jared Hawkins in the 37 moves under Conley in 3 and 4, but can't complete the pass. Conley cut a tire and returned to finish 5th. Garvin held off Satterley for the checkers, followed by Beck and Jared Hawkins. For the B mains, the top 3 would continue on to the Showdown in Sarvertown. In B main number 1, Donnie Moran jumps to the lead as Jared Miley slides in front of John Mollick for 2nd off of turn 2. Mollick would later come back to challenge for the spot in 3 and 4 as Russ King muscles his way past Miley for 3rd. Moran wins the B main as Mollick holds off King at the finish line. In B main number 2, Fast Track graduate Brian Force in the 31 was making his first super late model start. Here he leads a restart on lap 2. Brian Schwartzlander in the 111 gets out of shape on the rough track, allowing hometown driver Ken Schultenbrand to gain 2 spots as he passes Rod Conley as well. On a lap 5 restart, Dave Murdoch in the orange number 1 works the high side of the 29 to take over 2nd behind Force. Another local driver, Tony Burke in the 23, races Devin Moran for 4th place. Force is impressive in winning B-Main number 2, but there's heartbreak for Schultenbrand as Devin Moran passes him for the final transfer spot in the last turn. Murdoch finished 2nd. Now on to the Showdown in Sarvertown. Because of rough track conditions, officials shortened the event from 50 laps to 40 circuits. On this night, it was all about survival. Eddie Carrier Jr. led the early laps with Boom Briggs in 2nd. Tim Dome would race to the inside of Robbie Blair to take over 3rd once they got into turn 3. Davey Johnson would waste no time in taking 4th from Blair. A lap 4 caution involving Mike Knight saw Blair and Dave Hess Jr. go pit side. Dave Murdoch also joined them. Carrier leads them to the restart. Going into turn 1, Dome's power plant goes up in smoke, knocking out another strong contender. Johnson gets bottled up behind him. Up front, Briggs closes on Carrier and completes the pass for the lead coming off of 4. By lap 9, Tommy Beck has moved up to second and setting his sights on Briggs while John Flinner works the high side of 1 and 2 to take third away from Carrier as they exit the turn. Flinner eventually passes Beck for second, then bounces through the ruts in 3 and 4 to take the lead away from Briggs. On the same lap, Beck moves into the runner-up spot with this pass of Briggs. On lap 30, Greg Satterley gets by Briggs for the third position. Up front, Flinner is lapping cars while others retire for the night. Brian Force continued to impress as he made it up to 5th place in his first super late model start. To show you how dominant Flinner was on this night, it's the last lap and that is Beck and Satterley racing for second. And here comes John Flinner to take the checkers at the Showdown in Sarvertown. So it's Flinner, Beck, and Satterley, the only cars on the lead lap. Boone Briggs finished 4th with Brian Force in 5th. Congratulations to John Flinner on an impressive win on a treacherous track. Unfortunately, I did not get to catch up with John after his win. I would also like to give a shout out to someone else at Lernerville. Barry Lucas Sr. is the pace truck driver at the track. Now, upon seeing that I'd parked further away than I'd prefer and knowing how much gear I have to lug around, Barry was very accommodating and found me a more convenient spot. So Barry, thanks very much for saving some wear and tear on this rickety body. Moving on, we'll go back to Lernerville for more racing action. But up next, it's the Bob Weichert Memorial from Port Royal featuring the All-Star Sprints. That and more when Pit Pass returns.
Family fun starts at Jake's Karts. Choose a kart from their showroom or have one custom built to your specifications. Custom paint, lift kits, wheels, tires, and rear seats are just a few options. Go ahead, shake it up. Whether you are camping or trail riding on any terrain, Jake's Karts has the perfect kart your whole family will enjoy. Stop in today for a test drive. Financing available for qualified buyers. Jake's Karts, Route 522 McBaytown, online at jakeskarts.com.